Part 5. A human warship enters forbidden space, and the galaxy trembles. The battle had been raging for 3 hours. The space around the Keeper's facility was filled with debris from destroyed ships, both human and conquered. The conquered armada had lost 43 capital ships and over 200 smaller vessels. The human fleet had lost 18 ships with 30 more badly damaged. But the humans were still fighting, and they were getting stronger with each passing minute. Admiral Krell stared at the tactical displays on his flagship and tried to understand how this had happened. His fleet outnumbered the humans more than 2 to 1. His ships were larger and better armed. His crews were experienced veterans who had fought dozens of battles. Yet somehow, impossibly, the humans were winning. "Admiral, we should consider withdrawing," his second officer suggested carefully. "The humans have access to predecessor technology that we cannot counter. If we continue this battle, we may lose the entire fleet." "We cannot withdraw," Krell snapped. "The hyperspace disruption field prevents faster-than-light travel. We are trapped here until we destroy that facility, or until the humans deactivate the field. There is no retreat. We win, or we die." On the bridge of the Defiant Dawn, Tae-sung was coordinating the human fleet's movements. The Keeper provided constant tactical updates, showing weak points in the Concorde formation and predicting enemy movements before they happened. It was like playing a game where only one side could see the whole board. "Captain, the Keeper has completed full upgrades on 30 of our ships," Jiwoo reported. "Those vessels are now operating at predecessor technology levels. They are significantly more powerful than anything the Conquered has. Move those ships to the front," Tae-sung ordered. "Let them lead the attack. The upgraded ships can break through the Conquered lines while the rest of the fleet provides support." Admiral Byung-hoo agreed with the plan. He selected the 30 upgraded ships and formed them into a spear formation. At his command, they accelerated toward the heart of the Concorde armada, their weapons blazing. The Concorde ships tried to stop them but failed. The upgraded human vessels cut through the armada like knives through paper. Their shields shrugged off attacks that would have destroyed normal ships. Their weapons carved massive holes in Concorde hulls. In 20 minutes, they had destroyed or disabled 50 enemy vessels. Admiral Krell watched his fleet being torn apart and made a decision he never thought he would have to make. "Send a message to the Conquered High Council. Tell them we need immediate reinforcements. Tell them the humans have gained access to fully functional predecessor technology. Tell them if we do not receive help soon, this fleet will be destroyed." His communications officer looked confused. "Admiral, the hyperspace disruption field prevents us from sending faster-than-light messages. We cannot contact the Council." Krell closed his eyes. They were truly trapped. No escape, no reinforcements, no hope of victory. He had one option left. "Prepare all ships for ramming attacks," Krell ordered quietly. "If we cannot win with weapons, we will win with sacrifice. We will destroy the human fleet and the facility by crashing our ships into them." His bridge crew stared at him in shock. Ramming attacks were desperate tactics, used only when all other options had failed. They meant certain death for the crews of the ships involved. "Admiral, there are over 100,000 personnel in this fleet," the second officer protested. "You are ordering them all to die. Better to die with honor than to surrender predecessor technology to primitives," Krell replied. "Send the orders. All ships, prepare for final attack." On the Defiant Dawn, Hyun detected the change in Concorde tactics immediately. "Captain, the Conquered ships are moving into attack formations, but something is wrong. They are not positioning for weapons fire. They are pointing their bows directly at our ships. I think they are going to ram us." Tae-sung felt cold. Ramming attacks were nearly impossible to stop. Even if they destroyed the attacking ships, the debris would continue forward with enough momentum to cause terrible damage. And with hundreds of Concorde ships preparing to sacrifice themselves, the human fleet could be wiped out. "Keeper, can you stop them?" Tae-sung asked urgently. "I can destroy many ships, but not all. Some will get through. Your fleet will suffer heavy casualties." Tae-sung looked at Jiwoo, at Da-eun, at Min and Hyun, and all the other crew members who had trusted him to lead them. He thought about the Thousands of human men and women on the other ships in the fleet, all of them fighting for Earth's future. He could not let them die here. There has to be another way, Taesung said desperately. Keeper, the Concorde is trapped here because of the hyperspace disruption field. What if we turned it off? What if we gave them a chance to retreat? Captain, if we deactivate the field, they might bring reinforcements, Jiwoo warned. Or they might just leave, Taesung replied. Right now, they think they have no choice but to fight to the death. But if we open the door, if we show them mercy, maybe they will take it. It is worth trying. Captain Taesung, your reasoning is sound. I will deactivate the hyperspace disruption field. However, be aware that once I do, the Concorde will be able to escape or call for help. I know, Taesung said. But I would rather take that risk than watch thousands of people die unnecessarily, even if they are our enemies. Open a channel to Admiral Krell. The Threxian admiral appeared on the screen. He looked tired and defeated, but his eyes still held fierce determination. Admiral Krell, I know what you are planning, Taesung said. You are going to sacrifice your fleet in ramming attacks. Many of your people will die and many of mine will die too. But it does not have to end this way. We will not surrender, Krell said stubbornly. The Concorde does not surrender to primitives. I am not asking you to surrender, Taesung replied. I am offering you a chance to leave. We are going to deactivate the hyperspace disruption field. When we do, your ships will be able to jump to faster than light speeds. You can retreat, take your wounded, and return to conquered space. We will not stop you. Krell was suspicious. Why would you do this? You have the advantage. You could destroy us. Because I do not want to destroy you, Taesung said honestly. You were following orders, doing what you thought was right. Your people do not deserve to die just because your leaders made bad decisions. So I am giving you a choice. Stay and fight to the death or leave and live to see your families again. The Threxian admiral was silent for a long moment. Taesung could see the conflict in his eyes, the struggle between duty and survival. Finally, Krell spoke. If I accept this offer, the Concorde will call me a coward. They will say I should have fought until the end. Let them say what they want, Taesung replied. You will be alive to hear it. And your crew will be alive too. That is what matters. Admiral Byung-hoo's voice cut into the conversation. Captain Taesung, are you certain about this? We could end the Concorde threat here and now. We could, Taesung agreed. But at what cost? How many of our people would die in the process? And what would it accomplish? The Concorde has thousands of ships. Destroying this fleet would not end the conflict. It would just make them angrier and more determined. But if we show mercy, if we prove that humans can be reasonable and compassionate, maybe we can find a path to peace. Byung-hoo was quiet for a moment, then nodded slowly. Very well, Captain, it is your call. Keeper, deactivate the disruption field. The field shut down. Across the conquered fleet, hyperspace drives came back online. Ships that had been preparing for suicide attacks suddenly had another option. Admiral Krell looked at his officers, then back at Taesung. You are either very wise or very foolish, human. I am not sure which. But I will accept your offer. Conquered fleet, stand down from attack formation. Prepare for hyperspace jump. One more thing, Admiral, Taesung said. When you get back to the Conquered Council, tell them what happened here. Tell them that humanity has access to predecessor technology, and we know how to use it. Tell them we do not want war, but we will defend ourselves if necessary. And tell them that we are willing to negotiate, to find a way for humans and the Conquered to coexist peacefully. I will deliver your message, Krell promised, but I cannot promise the Council will listen. They are proud and set in their ways. They may see your mercy as weakness. Then that will be their mistake, Taesung said. Safe travels, Admiral. The Conquered fleet began to retreat. One by one, the ships jumped to hyperspace, leaving the battlefield behind. Within an hour, they were all gone. The only ships remaining were human vessels and the wreckage of the battle. The bridge of the Defiant Dawn erupted in cheers. Daeun hugged Hyun. Min pumped her fist in the air. Jiwoo allowed herself a small smile of relief. They had survived. Against impossible odds, they had won. Admiral Byung-hoo's face reappeared on the screen. Congratulations, Captain. You just changed the course of human history. What you did here today, the courage you showed, the mercy you offered, it will be remembered forever. We all did it together, Taesung replied. Every captain, every crew member, every person who risked their life for Earth's future. This victory belongs to all of us. Perhaps, Byung-hoo agreed. But it was your decisions that made the difference. Now we need to figure out what comes next. The conquered will respond to this one way or another. We need to be ready. Part 4. A human warship enters forbidden space and the galaxy trembles. The Concorde Armada was in chaos. 8 command ships had been destroyed in the opening seconds of the battle, and the fleet was struggling to reorganize. Ships that should have been working together were scattered across space, each captain trying to figure out what to do without orders from their superiors. But the Concorde had not ruled the galaxy for centuries by being weak or stupid. Within minutes, new commanders stepped up to take control. Vice Admiral Krell, a Threxian who had been second in command on one of the battleships, took charge of the fleet. His first order was simple and brutal. All ships spread out and surround the facility. Concentrate fire on the human vessel. Ignore the defense platforms for now. Destroy that ship. The Armada began to move with purpose again. Dozens of ships broke formation and accelerated toward the defiant dawn from multiple directions. They opened fire in space filled with plasma bolts, missiles, and energy beams. The human ship shook as the shields absorbed hit after hit. Shields at 70%, Dayun reported, her voice tense. They are learning to coordinate their fire. If they keep this up, the shields will fail in 15 minutes. Taesung gripped the arms of his chair. Evasive maneuvers. Keep us moving. Do not let them get a solid lock on us. Min, target their weapons platforms. If we cannot destroy the ships, at least make them less dangerous. The defiant dawn twisted and turned through space, moving with speed and grace that no human ship had ever achieved before. The Keeper's upgrades had made it incredibly agile. Min fired the weapons in controlled bursts, each shot taking out a gun turret or missile launcher on the attacking ships. But it was not enough. For every weapon they destroyed, 10 more took its place. The conquered Armada was simply too big. Captain, more ships are closing in, Hyun announced. I count 50 vessels moving to surround us. They are going to box us in. The Keeper's defense platforms were fighting desperately, their ancient weapons tearing into the conquered ships with devastating effect. But there were only 30 platforms against hundreds of ships. Slowly but surely, the conquered was destroying them. One platform exploded under concentrated fire. Then another. Then 3 more. Captain, shields at 40%, Daeun said. We need to do something different or we are not going to make it. Jiwoo was monitoring the tactical situation. Captain, the Earth fleet is still 90 minutes away. We cannot hold that long. Taesung knew she was right. They had fought bravely. They had done everything possible, but simple mathematics was against them. One ship could not defeat an armada no matter how advanced the technology. Keeper, do you have any other options? Taesung asked desperately. Anything at all? There is one possibility. The facility has a hyperspace disruption field. It can prevent ships from jumping to faster than light speeds. I could expand it to cover this entire region of space. The Concorde ships would not be able to escape or call for reinforcements. But that would trap us here too, Jiwoo pointed out. Yes, and it would not change the current tactical situation. You would still be outnumbered. Taesung thought quickly. A hyperspace disruption field would prevent the conquered from leaving, but it would also prevent them from bringing more ships. And more importantly, it would prevent any conquered ship from running away to report what was happening here. If humanity was going to lose this battle, at least they could make sure the Concorde paid a heavy price for their victory. Do it, Taesung ordered. Activate the disruption field. We are committed now. We fight until the Earth fleet arrives or until we cannot fight anymore. The Keeper activated the field. Invisible energy spread outward from the facility, creating a bubble in space where hyperspace travel became impossible. Alarms sounded on every conquered ship as their faster-than-light drives suddenly went offline. Admiral Krell stared at his displays in shock. What is happening? Why are the hyperspace drives not responding? His science officer, a nervous Quillen, checked the readings twice before answering. Admiral, there is a hyperspace disruption field emanating from the predecessor facility. We cannot jump to faster than light speeds. We are trapped here. Then we finish this quickly, Krell decided.
All ships, full assault.
I want that human vessel destroyed in the next 10 minutes. The Armada intensified its attack. More than 100 ships focused their weapons on the defiant Dawn. The shields began to fail in sections, and the ship took direct hits to its hull. Explosions rocked the bridge. Sparks flew from damaged consoles. Shields at 20%, Daun shouted over the noise. Hull breaches on decks 5 and 7. Emergency bulkheads are holding, but we cannot take much more of this. Keep fighting, Tae-sung ordered. Every second we survive is 1 second closer to help arriving. Min continued firing, her shots precise even as the ship shook around her. She destroyed weapon after weapon, ship after ship, but it felt like trying to stop an ocean with a bucket. For every ship they damaged, 2 more took its place. Captain, shields at 10%, Daeun said. 1 more concentrated barrage and we are done. Tae-sung looked around his bridge. His crew was battered and exhausted, but none of them had given up. They were still fighting, still trying. He felt proud of them, even as he realized they might all die here. Then Hyun's voice cut through the chaos. Captain, new hyperspace signatures. Multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light speeds. The Concorde reinforcements? Ji-woo asked with dread. No, Hyun said, his voice rising with excitement. These signatures are different, smaller. These are human ships. The Earth fleet arrived early. Tae-sung felt hope surge through him. How many? All of them, Captain. 187 ships. They are here. Space tore open as the Earth fleet emerged from hyperspace. They were not impressive ships by galactic standards. Most were small frigates and destroyers, built with limited resources and simple technology. The largest vessels, the dreadnoughts, were barely half the size of conquered battleships. But they came in fast and aggressive, their weapons already firing. Admiral Byung-hoo's face appeared on the screen. The old admiral looked tired but determined. Sorry we are late, Captain. Traffic was terrible. Situation report? Shields failing, hull damage, but we are still here, Tae-sung replied. Admiral, the Keeper can upgrade our ships, but we need time. Can you buy us that time? Consider it done, Byung-hoo said. All Earth vessels engage the Conquered fleet. Make them remember this day. The human fleet crashed into the Conquered Armada like a hammer. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but they fought with a ferocity that caught the Conquered by surprise. Human captains used tactics that the Conquered had never seen before, darting in close to fire at weak points before retreating behind cover. They coordinated their attacks, 3 or 4 small ships ganging up on larger vessels to overwhelm their defenses. Admiral Krell watched in frustration as his fleet struggled to deal with the human tactics. These humans fight like criminals with no honor or discipline. All ships maintain formation, do not let them separate you. But the damage was done. The sudden appearance of the Earth fleet had disrupted the Concorde's attack on the defiant Dawn. Ships that had been moments away from delivering the killing blow were now forced to defend themselves. Captain, shields are recharging, Daun reported with relief. The pressure is off us. We have breathing room. Keeper, start upgrading the Earth fleet, Tae-sung ordered. Prioritize the ships taking the most damage. We need to keep them alive long enough to upgrade everyone. Understood. Transmitting upgrade protocols now. Each ship will need to dock with the facility for approximately 3 minutes to receive full modifications. 3 minutes per ship. 187 ships. That was over 9 hours of upgrade time. And they did not have 9 hours. The Conquered would not wait that long. We need to do this faster, Ji-woo said, reading Tae-sung's thoughts. Can the ships receive partial upgrades? Maybe just shields or weapons? Yes. Partial upgrades can be transmitted remotely. They will not be as powerful as full modifications, but they will improve combat effectiveness significantly. Do it, Tae-sung said. Start with shields. Keep our ships alive. The Keeper transmitted data to the Earth fleet. On every human ship, engineers watched in amazement as their systems began to change. Shield generators suddenly produced energy fields 10 times stronger than before. Weapons became more accurate and more powerful. Engines ran more efficiently, giving the ships greater speed and maneuverability. The change in the battle was immediate and dramatic. Human ships that had been barely holding on against Concorde fire suddenly became much harder to kill. They fought back with new confidence. their improved weapons doing real damage to conquered vessels. Admiral Byung-Hoo grinned as he watched his fleet transform. Now this is more like it. All ships press the attack. Show them what upgraded humans can do. Admiral Krell was beginning to worry. His fleet still had the advantage in numbers, but the humans were fighting much better than they should be able to. And their ships were growing stronger by the minute. He needed to end this battle soon, before the situation got worse. All carriers launch fighters, Krell ordered. Overwhelm them with numbers. Even upgraded shields can fail under sustained attack. Part 3. A human warship enters forbidden space, and the galaxy trembles. The message from Earth Command arrived 90 minutes later. Admiral Byung-Hoo's face filled the main screen, his expression grim but determined. He was an old soldier, with gray hair and scars from the early days of human space exploration, when accidents were common and rescue was often impossible. Captain Tae-sung, "I have read your report 3 times and I still can barely believe it," Byung-Hoo said. "You have done something remarkable. You have also started the biggest crisis humanity has ever faced. The conquered ambassadors are already demanding answers. They want us to withdraw immediately and hand over any technology you have obtained. They are threatening economic blockades and military action." "What are your orders, Admiral?" Tae-sung asked. Byung-Hoo was quiet for a moment. When he spoke again, his voice was firm. "We are not giving up this opportunity. The Keeper's technology could mean survival for our species, but you cannot hold that position alone. The Conquered is sending their Grand Armada, 300 capital ships, 2,000 cruisers, and support craft that number in the tens of thousands. Even with predecessor technology, one ship cannot survive that. Then what do we do?" Jiwoo asked. "We are coming to you," Byung-Hoo said. "Every combat-capable ship that Earth has is being mobilized. 187 vessels. It is not many compared to the Conquered, but it is everything we have. We are betting the future of humanity on your discovery, Captain. The fleet will arrive in your location in approximately 6 hours. Tae-sung felt his chest tighten. The entire fleet. Every ship that protected Earth, every crew that kept humanity safe, all of them coming to the Forbidden Zone. If this went wrong, if they lost, Earth would be defenseless. "Admiral, is this wise?" Tae-sung asked carefully. "If we lose the fleet here, Earth will have no protection." "If we lose here, Earth is doomed anyway," Byung-Hoo replied bluntly. "The Concord will not rest until they have destroyed every trace of our presence in this zone. And once they do that, they will come for Earth itself. They will claim we are too dangerous, too unpredictable. They will say it is necessary to remove us from the galactic community for the safety of all. No, Captain. Our only chance is to win here, to prove that humanity cannot be pushed around or eliminated. We fight here or we die slowly under Conquered control." "Understood, Admiral," Tae-sung said. "We will prepare for your arrival." The communication ended. The bridge was silent for a long moment. Da-un finally spoke. "Captain, if the fleet is coming, we need to make sure they can actually fight when they get here. Our ship has been upgraded, but the rest of the fleet still has standard Earth technology. Against the Conquered Armada, they would be destroyed in minutes." "The Keeper," Tae-sung said suddenly. "Keeper, can you upgrade more ships? Can you give the same technology to our entire fleet?" The response came immediately. "Yes. When your ships arrive, I can interface with their systems and apply the necessary modifications. It will take time for each ship, but it can be done. However, there is a problem." "What problem?" Jiwoo asked. "The Conquered Armada will arrive. Before your fleet does, my calculations show they will be here in approximately 4 hours. Your reinforcements will not arrive for 6 hours. You will need to survive for 2 hours against overwhelming numbers before help arrives." The crew exchanged worried looks. 2 hours, alone against the biggest military force in the galaxy. "How many ships are in the Conquered Armada?" Min asked quietly. Hyun checked his sensors. "I am detecting over 300 hyperspace signatures. Large ones. These are not patrol ships or frigates. These are dreadnoughts, battleships, and carriers. The Conquered is sending everything they have in this sector." Tae-sung paced the bridge, thinking hard. 1 ship against 300. Even with predecessor shields and weapons, those were impossible odds. The Keeper's technology made them powerful but not invincible. Eventually, the shields would fail under sustained fire from that many ships. "Keeper, I need options," Tae-sung said. "Is there anything else in this facility that can help us? Any other defenses or weapons?" Yes, this facility has automated defense platforms, weapons systems that have not been activated in 10,000 years. They were designed to protect the facility from large-scale attacks. I can bring them online. Do it, Taesung ordered. Bring everything online. We need every advantage we can get. Around them, space began to change. The ancient structure that housed the Keeper started to transform. Panels opened across its surface, revealing weapons that had been hidden for millennia. Platforms emerged from the depths of the facility, each one bristling with guns and missile launchers. Energy began to flow through systems that had been dormant since before human civilization existed. Captain, I am reading massive power surges from the facility, Hyun reported. The Keeper is activating hundreds of weapon systems. These readings are off the scale. Will it be enough? Jiwoo asked. I do not know, the Keeper replied honestly. The Conquered Armada is the largest military force in the galaxy. These defenses were designed to protect against small fleets, not an entire armada. We will fight, but the outcome is uncertain. Da-Yun had an idea. Captain, what if we do not just defend? What if we attack first? If we can disable some of their ships before they get organized, it might give us a better chance. Attack 300 ships? Min said in disbelief. How? The Keeper knows their weaknesses, Da-Eun explained. Just like with the Rex fleet. If we can identify their command ships and take them out quickly, we might create confusion. A fleet that big needs coordination. Without their commanders, they might hesitate or make mistakes. Taesung considered it. It was risky, incredibly risky, but sitting and waiting to be overwhelmed was not much better. Keeper, can you identify the command structure of the Conquered Armada? Can you tell us which ships we need to target to cause the most disruption? Yes. I have observed Concord military operations for centuries. I know their tactics and their protocols. I can provide targeting priorities. Then we have a plan, Taesung said. When the Armada arrives, we strike first and we strike hard. We take out their command ships before they know what is happening. It might buy us enough time for the Earth fleet to arrive. The crew prepared for battle. Engineers checked every system twice. Weapons officers ran drills and simulations. Medical personnel prepared the sickbay for casualties. Everyone knew this might be their last fight, but no one suggested retreat. They were humans, and humans did not give up easily. 3 hours and 47 minutes later, the Conquered Armada arrived. Space tore open as hundreds of ships dropped out of hyperspace. They appeared in perfect formation, a massive wall of metal and firepower that stretched across the void. Dreadnoughts the size of cities. Battleships that could level planets. Carriers that each held hundreds of fighter craft. It was the most powerful military force that most of the galaxy had ever seen in one place. At the center of the formation was a ship larger than all the others. The Eternal Judgment flagship of Supreme Commander Velkar. The Threxian commander had served the Concord for 300 years, and he had never lost a battle. His face appeared on every screen in the defiant dawn. Velkar looked reptilian, with scaled skin and yellow eyes that gleamed with cold intelligence. Human vessel, I am Supreme Commander Velkar of the Galactic Concord. You have violated sacred laws and attacked our forces. You have one opportunity to surrender. Power down your weapons, abandon the Forbidden Zone, and submit to Concord justice. Refuse, and we will destroy you and everything in this system. Taesung stood up straight. Supreme Commander, I am Captain Taesung of Earth. We came here seeking knowledge, not conflict. We have harmed no one who did not attack us first. The Keeper has offered us access to this facility, and we have accepted. We will not surrender what we have rightfully claimed. Then you choose death, Velkar said coldly. The Keeper is conquered property, held in trust by our government for the safety of all species. The predecessors left it in our care, and we will not allow primitives like humanity to steal it. You have 10 seconds to reconsider. Taesung looked at his crew. He saw fear in their eyes, but also determination and pride. They had come so far. They had discovered something amazing. They would not give it up without a fight. Keeper, are the defense platforms ready? Taesung asked quietly. Yes. Then let us show the Conquered what humans are made of, Taesung said. All weapons target the command ships. Fire on my mark. The 10 seconds passed in silence. Velkar's expression hardened. Very well. All ships open fire. Destroy the human vessel and the facility. Leave nothing intact. The Conquered Armada began to charge their weapons. 300 ships preparing to unleash enough firepower to crack a planet now. Taesung shouted. The Defiant Dawn and the Keeper's defense platforms opened fire as one. Beams of blue light crossed the void, moving faster than the conquered sensors could track. They struck with precision, hitting the command bridges of the Armada's flagship and its support vessels. Explosions bloomed across the Eternal Judgment as its bridge was torn apart. Velkar had just enough time to look surprised before the blast consumed him. Part 2. A human warship enters forbidden space, and the galaxy trembles. The plasma bolts flew through space like burning stars, hundreds of them, all aimed at the Defiant Dawn. Each one carried enough energy to melt through the hull of a normal warship. The Vrex were not trying to capture the human ship anymore. They were trying to erase it from existence. But something strange happened. The plasma hit a barrier around the Defiant Dawn and simply stopped. The bolts splashed against an invisible wall, spreading out like water hitting glass. The energy dissipated harmlessly into space, creating beautiful patterns of light that faded away in seconds. The human ship sat there, completely undamaged, surrounded by a red glow that pulsed with power. On the bridge, the crew stared at their displays in shock. Dayun was the first to speak. "Captain, the shields are holding at 98%. These weapons cannot hurt us. The Keeper's technology is incredible." Tae-sung allowed himself a small smile. "Commander Jiwoo, open a channel to the Vrex fleet." Thexal's face appeared on the screen. His compound eyes were wide with disbelief. His mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of extreme agitation in Vrex body language. "Impossible. Those are predecessor shields. How did you activate them?" "The Keeper is supposed to be dormant." "The Keeper is very much awake," Tae-sung replied calmly. "And it has chosen to help humanity. Commander Thexal, I will give you one chance. Withdraw your fleet. We do not want to fight you, but we will defend ourselves if necessary." Thexal made a harsh clicking sound that the translator interpreted as angry laughter. "You think one ship with stolen technology can defeat 10 Vrex warships? You are fools. All units, continue firing. Focus all weapons on that ship until the shields collapse." The Vrex fleet moved into a tighter formation. Every weapon on every ship began firing at once. The space around the Defiant Dawn became a storm of plasma and missiles. The human crew felt the ship shake slightly as the shields absorbed the massive barrage, but the red glow never flickered. "Shields at 95%, Daun reported. "At this rate, they could fire for an hour and barely scratch us." Lieutenant Hyun was studying his sensor displays carefully. "Captain, I am analyzing the Vrex ships. The Keeper is feeding me data about their designs. I can see weak points in their shield coverage and vulnerabilities in their engine systems. It is like having a blueprint of every ship out there. The Keeper knows how to fight them," Jiwoo said quietly. "It has probably been watching the Conquered for thousands of years." Tae-sung thought about that. The Keeper, alone in the darkness, observing the galaxy but never interfering, waiting for someone to come who deserved the gifts the predecessors had left behind. And now it was offering humanity not just technology but knowledge, the kind of knowledge that won wars. "Tactical Officer Min, are our new weapons online?" Tae-sung asked. Min was a small woman with sharp eyes who had trained at Earth's best military academy. She had been quiet since the upgrade began, but now her hands moved across her controls with growing confidence. "Yes, Captain. The Keeper has modified our railguns and added weapon systems I do not even have names for. We have targeting locks on all 10 Vrex ships, waiting for your command." Tae-sung watched the Vrex continue their futile attack. He did not want to kill anyone today. These soldiers were just following orders, protecting what they believed needed protection. But he also could not let them continue attacking without consequences. He needed to send a message not just to this fleet, but to the entire Concord. "Target their engines and weapons only," Tae-sung ordered. "I want every Vrex ship disabled but intact. Their crews should survive to tell this story." "Understood, Captain," Min replied. Her fingers danced across the controls. "Firing! The Defiant Dawn's weapons activated." Beams of blue light shot out, moving so fast that they were almost invisible. They struck with surgical precision. On the first Vrex ship, the main engines exploded into clouds of gas and debris. Weapon platforms shattered. The ship went dark, tumbling slowly through space with its life support still working but everything else destroyed. The same thing happened to the second ship. Then the third. Then the fourth. Thexal realized what was happening and tried to maneuver his fleet away, but it was too late. The Keeper's targeting data was perfect. Min's aim was perfect. One by one, the Vrex warships were reduced to floating hulks, their crews alive but helpless. In less than 3 minutes, The entire Vrex fleet was neutralized. The bridge of the Defiant Dawn was silent. The crew could not quite believe what they had just done. 10 warships disabled without a single human casualty, without even breaking a sweat. Captain receiving transmission from the Vrex flagship, Hyun announced. Thexol appeared on screen again. This time there was no aggression in his posture, only shock and fear. "What are you?" he asked quietly. "We are humans," Taesung replied. "And we are not your enemies, Commander. But we will not be threatened or bullied. Your crews are safe. Your life support systems are intact. Send a distress signal to your bases. They will come to rescue you. And when they do, tell them what happened here. Tell them that humanity has entered the galactic stage and we will not be pushed aside." Thexol said nothing. He simply closed the communication channel. Daeun let out a long breath. "Captain, we just attacked Concord military forces. This is going to cause an incident. A big one." "I know," Taesung said.
Hyun, are you detecting any other ships in the area?
"No, Captain. We are alone for now. But I am picking up hyperspace ripples. Something big is coming, but it will not arrive for at least 2 hours." "Then we have 2 hours to learn everything we can," Taesung said. "Keeper, can you tell us more about this place? About the technology here?" The words appeared on the screens again. "This facility is one of 12 that the predecessors left behind. It contains manufacturing systems, research databases, and weapons that have not been used in 10,000 years. The Concorde discovered this zone 800 cycles ago. They realized that if any species accessed this technology, it would break their control over the galaxy, so they created the Forbidden Zone laws and destroyed any ship that tried to investigate. Why did they not take the technology for themselves?" Jiwoo asked. "They tried. They sent their best. Scientists and engineers, but the predecessors built safeguards. The technology requires certain qualities to activate: curiosity, courage, the willingness to take risks for the sake of knowledge. The conquered species have grown comfortable and stagnant. They seek only to maintain what they have, not to grow beyond it. When they approached, the systems remained dormant. But we were different," Taesung said softly. "Yes, you crossed the boundary knowing the risks. You came seeking answers, not power. You were willing to defy the rules of the galaxy for the sake of discovery. That is what the predecessors valued. That is what they built this place to reward." Min spoke up from her tactical station. "Captain, does this mean the Keeper will continue helping us? What about the rest of humanity?" "Captain Taesung, I offer humanity full access to this facility. Your people may send ships to study, to learn, to build. I will teach you everything the predecessors knew. In return, I ask only that you use this knowledge wisely." The predecessors disappeared because they became too powerful and destroyed themselves in a great war. Do not repeat their mistake. Taesung felt the weight of that request. The Keeper was offering humanity the keys to technologies that could revolutionize everything. Faster ships, better weapons, new sources of energy, medical advances that could cure diseases and extend life. But with that power came responsibility and danger. "I cannot make promises for all of humanity," Taesung said honestly, "but I can promise that we will try. We will do our best to use this gift well. That is all I ask." Daeun was reading through data that the Keeper was sending to her engineering station. Her eyes grew wider with each passing second. "Captain, the information here is incredible. I am looking at engine designs that could make our ships 10 times faster. Power generation systems that produce unlimited energy. Construction techniques that could build a starship in days instead of years. If Earth had access to even a fraction of this technology, we would jump centuries ahead. And that is exactly why the Concorde will never let us have it peacefully," Jiwoo said grimly. "They will come with everything they have. Diplomatic pressure, economic sanctions, and if those fail, military force. We just humiliated a Vrex fleet. That is not something they will forgive or forget." Hyun looked up from his sensors with alarm. "Captain, the hyperspace ripples are getting stronger. Whatever is coming, it is coming faster than I thought. And there are a lot of ships. Dozens of them, maybe more." Taesung stood up and walked to the main view screen. He looked out at the ancient structure of the Keeper, at the facility that held so many secrets. He thought about Earth, 40 light years away, waiting to hear what had happened. He thought about his crew, brave men and women who had trusted him to lead them into danger. "Send a message to Earth Command. Taesung ordered. Full report on everything that has happened. Tell them about the Keeper, the technology, and the Rex fleet. Tell them that the Concord is sending more ships, probably a major fleet, and ask Admiral Byung-Hoo for orders. Part 1. A human warship enters forbidden space, and the galaxy trembles. The stars looked the same as always, but Captain Taesung knew they were approaching something dangerous. He stood on the bridge of the UNS Defiant Dawn, watching the screens that showed the empty space ahead. His ship was big and powerful, built by Earth to explore the galaxy and protect human interests. But what they were about to do had never been done before. Commander Jiwoo sat at her station, checking the navigation systems for the 10th time. Her fingers moved quickly across the controls, making sure everything was perfect. She had been with Taesung for 5 years, and she trusted him completely. But even she felt nervous about this mission. "Captain, we are 3 minutes from the boundary," Jiwoo said. Her voice was calm, but Taesung could hear the slight tremor in it. The boundary. Every species in the galaxy knew about it. Giant markers, taller than mountains, floated in space to show where the Forbidden Zone began. No one knew who built them, but everyone called the builders the predecessors. They had disappeared thousands of years ago, leaving behind only ruins and warnings. The Forbidden Zone was the biggest warning of all. For 300 years, every alien species had obeyed the rule. Do not enter. The Galactic Concord, the government that controlled most of the galaxy, made it their most important law. Ships that got too close were destroyed without warning. Planets that asked questions were threatened with blockades. The Concord said the predecessors left the zone sealed for a reason, and no one should disturb it. But Earth had only joined the galactic community 20 years ago. Humans had invented faster-than-light travel late, and when they finally reached the stars, they found a galaxy already divided up and controlled. The Concord offered Earth a small place in their government, but with many rules and restrictions. Earth's leaders had signed some treaties but refused to sign others. The Forbidden Zone Treaty was one they refused. Why should we obey laws made before we even knew aliens existed? That was what Admiral Byung-Hoo had said when he gave Taesung this mission. We need to know what is in there. We need to know why they are hiding it. Lieutenant Hyun looked up from his sensor station. He was young, only 25, and this was his first deep space mission. "Captain, I am detecting unusual energy readings beyond the boundary. Very faint but definitely artificial." Taesung nodded. "That confirms the long-range scans. Something in there is still working even after all this time." Engineer Daun spoke from her position near the engine controls. "All systems are ready, Captain. The quantum drive is at full power. If we need to run, we can jump to hyperspace in 15 seconds. "Good," Taesung said. "Because the moment we cross that line, every alarm in the Concord is going to go crazy." He took a deep breath and looked at his crew. 23 men and women from Earth, all volunteers. They all knew this mission might start a war. They all knew they might not come home. But they also knew that humanity needed answers, and someone had to be brave enough to get them. "Take us through," Taesung ordered. Jiwoo entered the commands. The Defiant Dawn moved forward, its engines pushing it faster and faster. The boundary markers appeared on the screens. Massive structures that looked like they were made from solid light. Ancient symbols covered their surfaces, warnings in languages that no one could read anymore. The ship crossed the invisible line. For a moment, nothing happened. Then every alarm system on the ship started making noise. But these were not alarms from the Defiant Dawn. These were signals coming from outside, from the markers themselves. They were sending messages across the galaxy, telling everyone that the boundary had been broken. "Captain, I am receiving multiple transmissions," Hyun said, his voice rising with excitement and fear. "The Concord channels are exploding with activity. They know we are here." Taesung expected that. What he did not expect was what came next. "Captain," Daeun shouted. "Something is scanning us. Something big. The energy readings are off the scale." The screens flickered, and then a new image appeared. It was not a ship or a station. It was a structure so large that the ship's sensors could barely measure it. It floated in the darkness ahead, a city in space with towers and domes and bridges connecting different sections. Lights blinked across its surface, patterns that looked almost like breathing. "What is that?" Jiwoo whispered. Before anyone could answer, every screen on the bridge changed. The image of the structure disappeared, replaced by something else. Symbols, flowing across the displays like water. They shifted and changed, and then suddenly they became words. "English words, welcome." The crew stared in shock. Taesung felt his heart beating faster. "This is Captain Taesung of the United Nations Starship Defiant Dawn. Who are you?" The words changed again. "I am the keeper. I have been waiting." "Waiting for what?" Taesung asked. "For someone worthy. For someone brave enough to enter. For someone who does not fear the unknown." Hyun was scanning the structure frantically. "Captain, the energy signature is consistent with predecessor technology. This thing is at least 10,000 years old, maybe older, and it is still fully operational." "Keeper," Taesung said carefully. "Why is this zone forbidden? Why does the Concord guard it so carefully?" The response came quickly. "They fear what is here. They fear change. They fear losing control." "What is here?" Ji-woo asked. "Everything. Knowledge, technology, power. The predecessors left these gifts for those who would seek them. But the Concord decided long ago that no one should have them. They wanted to keep the galaxy weak and divided." Daeun looked at Taesung with wide eyes. "Captain, if this is true, if there is advanced technology here, it could change everything for Earth. We could—" An alarm cut her off. A different alarm, one that meant danger was coming. "Captain, hyperspace signatures detected," Hyun announced. "Multiple ships dropping out of FTL. They are big, Captain. Very big." The screens showed new contacts appearing around them. 10 ships, each one twice the size of the Defiant Dawn. They had the angular design of Vrex warships with weapons platforms covering every surface. The Vrex were the military arm of the Conquered, insect-like beings who enforced the laws without mercy. A communication came through. The face on the screen was not human at all. Compound eyes, mandibles that clicked when speaking, antennae that twitched with agitation. Fleet Commander Thexal of the Virex Border Patrol. "Human vessel, you have committed a grave crime," Thexal said, his words translated by the ship's computer. "You have violated the most sacred law of the Galactic Conquered. Power down your engines immediately. Prepare to be boarded and arrested. Your ship will be impounded and your crew will face trial." Taesung stood up straighter. "Commander Thexal, Earth is not a member of the Forbidden Zone Treaty. We have broken no law that binds us. Ignorance is not an excuse. The law applies to all who travel the stars, whether they accept it or not. You will comply or you will be destroyed." The Keeper's words appeared on the screens again, visible only to the human crew. "They will attack regardless of your response. The Concord does not negotiate with those who challenge their authority, but I can help you. I can give you the means to defend yourselves. Do you accept?" Taesung looked at his crew. He saw fear in their eyes, but also determination. They had come here knowing the risks. They had crossed the boundary knowing what it might mean. "What kind of help?" Taesung asked the Keeper quietly. "The same technology that the Conquered fears. The same power that the predecessors left behind. I can upgrade your ship in seconds. I can make you strong enough to survive this encounter. But once I do, there is no going back. The galaxy will know that humanity has access to predecessor technology. The Conquered will never stop hunting you." Thexal's voice came through again. "You have 30 seconds to comply, human. After that, we will open fire." Taesung made his decision. "Keeper, do it. Upgrade the ship. We did not come here to surrender." The lights on the bridge flickered. Energy surged through the ship's systems. Taeyun watched in amazement as her displays showed impossible things happening. The ship's shields were being replaced with something new. The weapons were being enhanced. The engines were being modified. All of it happening faster than should be possible. 20 seconds, Thexal announced. "Captain, whatever the Keeper is doing, it is working," Daeun said. "Power levels are increasing across all systems. The shields are now 10 times stronger than before. The weapons are showing energy outputs that should not be possible." 10 seconds, Taesung sat back in his captain's chair. He felt calm now. The decision was made. "All hands prepare for combat. Today we show the galaxy that humans do not scare easily." 5 seconds. The Vrex warships charged their weapons. Plasma batteries began to glow with deadly light. "Time is up, human," Thexal said. "You have chosen death." The Vrex fleet opened fire.